all your worries, gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm the judge and jury, and we'll be up all night. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for
They are dead on that.
all the bad things looking brave. All in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt.
It was earlier tonight. I don't.
13, she had her 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, sing along. Our love is a heart attack. You better check the pulse. You better check for pulse.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to What's the Obsession True Crime. And thank you so much for being here this evening. This was kind of a last minute, late night. What is it? Wednesday night live stream. And we are going to be talking about Ellen Greenberg and the Ellen Greenberg case. And I'm going to tell you all about who she is, who she was, and what happened just this week that is really truly, I know sometimes we use the word shocking. It's like, yeah, okay, not so shocking. A truly shocking decision made by the Philadelphia Medical Examiner that is adding more controversy to this already very mysterious case of the death of a healthy 27-year-old woman. This happened back in 2011. And I just have to tell you guys, I lived in Philadelphia at that time. At that time, my gig I was a yoga and Pilates teacher. I had a studio. I ran my studio in Philadelphia for 11 years. I taught Ellen Greenberg Pilates. She came to my class about once a week, mostly on, sometimes off, for about a year and a half, from 2009, right up before, maybe like 3 months before her death. Not at my studio, but at a different studio I taught at in a little town called East Falls, which is really part of Philadelphia, which is right next to Maniac, where she lived. And she was just a very sweet, kind, fun, funny, beautiful, and seemingly very inspired and motivated and just like had it all together young woman. I remember very clearly in Philadelphia when we learned about this, what everyone heard at first was a murder, and then the death of this woman. And then I found out it was her. It was just absolutely shocking and horrifying. So I definitely feel a personal connection to this case. Obviously, I didn't know her well, but I can tell you she was an amazing person. So, hey, Cuff You, Honey Bun, and Sherry, thank you for all you guys do, my wonderful moderators. Hey, Kaylee, how are you doing? And Squirrels on Fire, it is so great to see you. And hey, Squirrels on Fire says, song is Check for Pulse by Duplex Heart. Hey, thanks, girl. You are on top of it. Hey, Serena, welcome. How are you doing? It's great to see you. Hey, MH, I'm so happy you didn't miss it. You got here just in time for the beginning. Yeah. I can't turn my camera on today because I got hit with a top speed flying basketball squarely in my face today. My nose started bleeding. I almost chipped one of my front teeth is almost completely gone. That's why my camera's not turning on. I have to go to the dentist tomorrow or Friday. And yeah, I'm a little bit loopy. I've never been hit that hard in the head. It was crazy. So yeah, she was totally stunning. So without further ado, let's just get into exactly what's going on. I'm not sure if everyone's going to be familiar with this case or not. But we're going to start with a clip of, it's going to be Ashley Banfield and Brian Enton with what happened just this week. Then we're going to backtrack and kind of go through the case files. Guys, this case is so dense and mysterious, and what happened and the way that Ellen's manner of death was determined and redetermined and then redetermined again and flip-flop from suicide to homicide is so questionable, okay? I'll let you make your own determination, so I will just leave it at that for now. You'll let me know what you think. Let me just bring this into the stream here. And I hope everyone's having a great night. Thanks for being here. Do the thing. Please click like, share the link if you can. All the things, all the things. Come on, make this bigger.
The report says there were 23 stab wounds, even though for the last 14 years it's been reported as 20. Report also contends there was no sign of a struggle in the apartment. The family vehemently disagrees, says no sign of intruders. As for Ellen's fiance, a man named Sam Goldberg, who called 911 and says he found Ellen that way.
Okay, so just let me tell you what just happened this week. Ellen's death was initially ruled to be a suicide, although she was stabbed 20 times. Well, now we know it's 23. 10 times in the front in the chest area, 10 times in the back, in her back, in the back of her neck. And Cuff, you, if you want to come up and tell us some more about that later, since you're a nurse and you understand the medical aspect of it, you're welcome to. And literally in the top of her head. And they ruled this as suicide. Time went on. Things happened. A lot of things happened. Her parents, she's an only child, have been fighting tooth and nail. It is their life's passion. It is what they do. They just want justice for their baby girl. Some lawsuits were coming up, and the medical examiner eventually just recently changed his decision on the determination of the manner of death from suicide to homicide. Well, as they were considering reopening the case and the investigation to find out who killed Ellen Greenberg, this went to another medical examiner who, without doing very many scientific evaluations, it seems, we can read through the whole report. It just came out 32 pages long. She then changed the manner of death back to a suicide, which, guys, is like literally impossible. So that's the context of what has been going on this week.
The report says there's no evidence of an abusive relationship between the two, and Goldberg's DNA was not found on the knife. Instead, the report leans hard into Ellen's alleged anxiety, which she supposedly, and I quote, expressed to friends and coworkers and her fiance in the hours leading up to her death. Ellen's mother, Sandy, spoke with the Banfield show today, saying that the report is, quote, an injustice, which appears, in her words, to selectively choose information to reach a predetermined result. The Greenberg's lawyer is more succinct. He calls it tripe. And that lawyer spoke with our Brian Enton, who joins me now live. Brian, I am so astounded. I fully expected this to go the other way. What did the Greenberg's lawyer tell you when you talked to him today?
Yeah, well, actually, this is one of those cases that we know so well because we've read all of the reports. And it's clear when you read over this new medical examiner report from Dr. Lindsay Simon in Philadelphia, the chief medical examiner, that she picked and chose what she wanted to include. And when you think back to just the evolution of this case, Dr. Osborne, the first medical examiner, first calling it a homicide, then switching it to suicide. Then years later, like 6 months ago, he's suddenly back on the record saying, actually, I no longer believe it is a suicide. And this is someone who actually, examined the body, says he doesn't believe it's a suicide anymore. And now today, this new medical examiner, who no one has ever heard of, by the way, including the Greenberg's attorney, who's been on the case since the beginning, knew nothing about this woman, Dr. Simon, suddenly she releases this 31-page report saying, no, actually, it is suicide. And yes, it is unusual. That's the quote she used, but said that she believes that Ellen would have been capable of doing this to herself, Ashley.
Okay, the one thing I can't get past is what one of the investigators that the Greenbergs hired said, and that was that at least one of the stab wounds happened after Ellen was dead. It is impossible for it to be a suicide, and then you die and stab yourself one more time.
Yeah, and I think that diagram you just showed, for me at least, there it is, has really just told the entire story. You look at that, how does someone do that to themselves? Specifically, the stab wound into the back of the neck into the spinal cord, perhaps done after she was already dead. How is it even possible?
Okay, so this horrific diagram that you see right here is a diagram depicting the actual stab wounds that were found on Ellen Greenberg's body. But obviously, at least 3 of the medical examinations done during her autopsy, the determination of her manner of death, were inaccurate, or this last one was, because this last one now says that there were 23 stab wounds. Now take a look at that. Does that look like the body of somebody that committed suicide?
That she could do that. Well, in this report, and this is the first time we've ever heard this, and there have been so many experts who have reviewed all of this. This has never come up before. For the first time now, this new woman, Dr. Simon, is saying that it may have been Dr. Osborne, the medical examiner, who actually punctured the spinal cord by accident when he was examining the body. Again, that is something that we've never heard before.
Wow, that's awfully new, 14 years.
Now, why 14 years later with this medical examiner that just put out a report today? Well, how the hell did she come up with Dr. Osborne, one of the previous medical examiners, accidentally, while he was conducting an autopsy, severed the spine? Like, what kind of crap is this? This is an outrage, guys.
Years later, I wonder how they came, to that information and haven't had that in 14 years. All right, I only have 30 seconds left, Brian. Is there any legal recourse left for the Greenberg family at this point?
Well, I asked their attorney, Joe Pedraza, that today, and he didn't. It was interesting. He didn't want to get into specifics, but he was clearly thinking of different options. We know that the state could get involved. Look, they don't trust the city of Philadelphia anymore. They don't trust the city of police to do a fair investigation. They obviously.
I wonder why.
You don't trust the medical examiner's office, but could state police get involved? Could the FBI now get involved? I mean, there's almost 200,000 signatures on a petition that just came out, Ashley. There's the Hulu doc that went viral. People are upset about this case, and now for this medical examiner to come out with this report that just says, suicide, nothing to see here after 14 years, the family says they're not giving up.
Well, you and I have been upset about it for a long time, and it's about time that the public starts getting upset because, look, transparency, right? That's all we're all asking for. And the more hijinks it seems go on, the worse that this is for everyone. Great work, Brian Entin. Thank you. Keep us posted on every next move. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you, Ashley and Brian Entin. So, guys, seriously, use that hashtag Justice for Ellen. This is an absolute outrage. And it's been an outrage since it happened. Like I said, I had met this woman. She came to my Pilates class many times over about a year and a half when I lived in Philadelphia, as did she at the time of her death. People were absolutely outraged when they were even suggesting that it was a suicide, because the facts came out about the nature of her wounds immediately, and everybody immediately realized there is no way that is a commission of suicide. No, just didn't happen. Just didn't happen. I mean, hopefully kindergartner's not watching this, and if you are, honey, you go to bed. This is not for you, but a kindergartner could tell you that. In this video, we are talking about Ellen Greenberg. Ellen Greenberg, the young woman who was just 27 years old in 2011 when she was discovered in her apartment in Manayunk, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. Well, actually, if you're from Philadelphia like me, Manayunk is part of Philadelphia. She was found having been stabbed in the heart, and not just one or two other times on her body, but according to the latest medical report, 22 times, including in the back of her body, the back of her neck, the back, and the top of her head. And really, that is all you need to know as far as background on the case, although there is a very deep background on this case, for the latest news, the latest breaking news to absolutely shock you. This is a report that was released just this week from the chief medical examiner of Philadelphia, Lindsay Simon. This is coming from the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's office, located on Broad Street, right in Center City, Philadelphia, where I lived for 21 years. In fact, when I lived in Philadelphia, I owned a yoga studio right in Center City. I taught yoga and Pilates full time. Many of you know this. It was my gig, my full-time gig for about 11 years. And Ellen Greenberg was a Pilates student of mine from 2009 until a few months before her death. Now, while I did not know her well, I did see her on a weekly basis for months at a time. And I can say she was very sweet, friendly, funny, kind, beautiful, and seemed like she was one of those inspired, motivated people in life. Her death is a true tragedy. And just this week, for the second time, her death is being ruled a suicide. This after the medical examiner who initially ruled it a suicide, years later, and many years of her parents fighting hard for justice for Ellen. That's the second medical examiner. He said, no, you know what, that was a mistake. It's a homicide. Now, there's a whole story, huge backstory behind this case. I'm putting out a video all about Ellen Greenberg's life and what happened to her in death, and the absolute shit show that has transpired in the medical examiner's office, in the police department, in the district attorney's office in Philadelphia since her 2011 death. So before going any further, let's take a listen to the first piece of this case that strikes many people as being very strange. And that is the 911 call that Ellen Greenberg's fiance made to 911 when he finally got into the apartment after he stood outside for an hour because the apartment was locked from the inside with a swing lock, and found Ellen on the floor with 20 stab wounds.
Help! I need everything out. I just walked into my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
46.
Yeah, y'all. If you haven't listened to this 911 call, and even if you have, listen carefully. I really, really want to know what y'all think of this. This 911 call is insane, just like everything else with this case. But this 911 call is like, oh my God. My son watched this with me the other day, and he was just like cracking up. He's like, this just has to be a joke.
So 1 Flat Rock Road, please come help now.
01
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. These are actual crime scene photos. So if that does bother you, I just want to let you know that ahead of time, okay?
Walked into my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please come help now.
01
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh no! Oh no! It's an apartment. Please hurry, please.
Where is she bleeding from?
I don't know. I can't tell.
No, sir, you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie!
You don't know where she's bleeding from? Can't tell where the blood's coming from?
I think her head. I think she hit her head, but it's everywhere.
Okay, sir,
it's everywhere.
She might have fallen. Do you know what happened?
She may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple.
Okay, hold on for rescue for her. Stay on the phone. What's wrong?
I went downstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. She's not responding.
Okay, is she breathing? Look at her chest. I need you to calm down, and I need you to look at her chest. It's really.
I really don't think she is.
Listen to me. Someone's on the way. Look at her chest. Is she flat on her back?
She's on her back. So I bring her.
Look at her chest and tell me if it's going up and down, up and down.
I don't see her moving.
Okay. Do you know how to do CPR?
I don't.
Okay, I can tell you what to do, okay, until they get there. I want you to keep her flat on her.
God.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, okay.
Are you willing to do CPR with me over the phone so they can
I have to, right?
Okay, so get her flat on her back, bare her chest, okay? You want to rip her shirt off, okay? Kneel down by her side.
Oh, my God. Ellie, please.
Listen, you can't freak out, sir, because you
Okay, I'm trying not to. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh, my God. She stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell with a knife. Oh, no. Her knife's sticking out.
Her what?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't touch it.
Okay, so I just let her down. Here now. I mean, what do I do?
No, I mean, you can't. If the knife is in her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR at this time.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Police, which operator? 277.
Is someone coming here?
Yes, they are. You said 4601 Flat Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay, someone's on the way. And the knife is still inside?
Wait, so what?
The knife is still inside of her?
Yes, I didn't take it out.
Was it her chest or what area?
It's in her chest. It looks like it's right in her heart.
Okay, someone's on the way out there. Okay, just get.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay.
How old is she?
She's 27.
27, and there's no sign of life at all. Like,
No, please don't be. What?
Pinch her under her arm and tell me if she responds to pain.
Ellie. She's not. Her hands are still warm. I don't know if that means, but there's blood everywhere. I mean.
I know, but you can't, and the knife is still inside of her. How far? Can you see how far it went in?
It looks pretty deep.
Okay.
It looks straight. I mean, it's a long knife.
Don't touch anything. Yeah, don't touch anything. Okay.
I'm not touching anything. I can't believe this though.
So wait, it was just you there with her?
We're the only ones here.
And she ran in the door. You said latched it shut.
No. I went downstairs to work out, and when I came back up, the door was latched.
Oh.
Like it was, it wasn't like it was, it was like locked from the inside, and I'm yelling. So I'm
was
yelling.
Your house broken into?
No.
So there's no sign of a break-in?
No sign of a break-in at all. I mean, there will be when you get here because I had to break the latch, but to get in.
Okay, 46-year-old.
Now, there are some really important things that you should know about Ellen Greenberg and this story, this case, before we continue here. Now, first of all, Ellen Greenberg was 27 years old. She was engaged to this gentleman named Sam. She was a school teacher, and I am familiar with the school that Ellen was teaching in, and it was in a socioeconomically depressed section just outside of Philadelphia. The students that she taught were from lower income families, many of them minority students, typically a very difficult group of students to teach because statistically we know, and this isn't always the case by any means, but statistically we know, and I know this from education, being in education. I was a special education teacher before I was a behavioral therapist, and I still work with teenagers in a school. The students that come from the background of which her students came from just generally struggle a little more. Their families might have different values, not as focused on excelling in education the way maybe Ellen's upbringing was. That was her family values. Her parents really wanted her to succeed. People say that they put a lot of pressure on her. I think that they were great parents. My God, loving parents. And they are fighting so hard for Ellen today. But she grew up in a family where there were expectations. They were high. The bar was high, and you were expected to meet it. Now, the students she was teaching, not so much. So I don't know if this in itself was a challenge for Ellen, but there were some things going on within the school, administration-wise, that were really stressing Ellen out. Right around the time of her death, specifically, the school implemented a new policy with grading the students, and the teachers' grades were due right around the time of her death. And according to many people, her parents, her fiance Sam, her friends, she was really, really stressed out about this. She had been seeing a psychiatrist who had prescribed her with a number of different medications. And we are going to talk about that a little more as we get into the medical examiner's report. All right. Sorry. Hold up here. Okay, so and welcome Leslie and everybody that just came in. It's nice to see you guys. And you know what? I'm trying to respond to you guys in chat, and YouTube keeps giving me a message saying YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. Dude, seriously, YouTube, I don't know, man. So yeah, it seems like she was a beloved teacher. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in the school she worked with, man, it was a really tough school. It was Juanita. Oh God, I can't remember the rest of it. But you know, it was in a somewhat impoverished section of Philadelphia. Yeah, right. Blame the meds. No, definitely not. You know, she went from one medication to another. Well, yeah, some of them I'm putting up, but then some of them YouTube is rejecting and then they don't go up. Like they were actually all to you, MH. I don't know why. But all right, let's get a little more. I know. And you guys all commented on that 911 call. I mean, there is so much wrong with that 911 call. He's like, oh my God, she has a knife sticking out of her heart. She fell on a knife. And then, he sits down or, apparently says he's kneeling down by her and says, oh my God, she stabbed herself in the heart. It's just, I don't know, man. Suicide again. This is just so troubling. All right. So this is a video. It's the one I wanted to play. Oh, I hope it is. Well, this is, yeah, I think this is it. We're going with it. We're going with it. If it's not, I can change it. Had you guys heard about the Ellen Greenberg case before today? I know it's been in the news a little bit today. Oh, and also Hulu just put out a really great documentary. The woman who produced it is from Philadelphia. Also, there's really I don't know, Philadelphia is just a very small, big city. And I think there's something about, people from Philadelphia who lived in Philadelphia at the time, like I told you I did, just feel very connected to this case.
I'm surprised that I'm calm, and I am ready to face this head on.
14 years after Sandy Greenberg's daughter Ellen's mysterious stabbing death, she and her husband Josh still have more questions than answers. They're about to attend a remote court hearing, the culmination of a years-long battle to get an independent review of their daughter's case. 27-year-old Ellen was found dead by her fiancé in 2011 in the kitchen of the Philadelphia apartment they shared.
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
Her body had 20 knife wounds, according to the initial autopsy report, including some to the back of her neck. The medical examiner initially ruled her death a homicide before switching it to suicide. A controversial decision that prompted the Greenbergs to file 2 lawsuits against the city of Philadelphia. But just a few days ago, a devastating blow. Philadelphia's medical examiner's office once again ruling Ellen's death a suicide and concluding that while the distribution of injuries is admittedly unusual, the fact remains that Ellen would be capable of inflicting these injuries herself.
What was your reaction to the 32-page?
Now, I just want to say, guys, that I read through this entire 32-page report, and I read through the beginning part of it a couple times because when things are stated like, although, the stabbings are unusual for suicide, you know why YouTube is probably weird today, Cuff You? It's pissed that people are saying suicide so much because we're not supposed to be adults and talk like adults around here. But, that's just, you're having a bad day, YouTube. I don't know what to tell you. The wound pattern would be unusual for a suicide, but it would be possible for somebody to inflict those wounds on themselves. Well, if you break that down, perhaps it would be possible, physically possible, if you're flexible and not a big person, to actually inflict those wounds on yourself, meaning you could reach those places on your body, with a knife and make that stab wound on yourself. But everybody who has reviewed this case said that at least 3 of those injuries were definitively fatal injuries. So you're going to kill yourself 3 times just because it's physically possible to make the angle of that stab wound by your own hand doesn't mean that it's even possible because somebody committed suicide by stabbing themselves 20 times, 10 of them in the back of the neck, head in the top of the head. This is just such insanity. And I cannot for the life of me, and apparently no one else can, there's theories, but figure out why in the hell the investigators, the medical examiners, district attorney's office, everybody is being so weird and just immoral and unethical and dishonest about this case.
Report.
I was kicked in the stomach pretty much and dumbfounded, and I couldn't talk for 2 days and I couldn't read it.
It's safe to say you don't accept the ruling of suicide.
No, just from a very clinical view, nothing leans towards suicide.
It's the latest twist in Ellen's case, recently chronicled in the Hulu docuseries Death in Apartment 603. What happened to Ellen Greenberg?
It is our responsibility to Ellen to find out the truth.
Piecing together what may have happened that fateful night.
This is an unusual case because there were mistakes from the very beginning. I have investigated stabbing suicides in my career, but I've never seen anyone stab themselves in the back.
The docuseries itself was part of the materials the current medical examiner said she reviewed for her new report. In her review, Dr. Lindsay Simon writes that she discovered.
Now, I just want you to take that in. For part of this medical examiner's report, this medical examiner who was determining the manner of death for this 14-year-old death of a 27-year-old that had currently had the status of manner of death homicide, reviewed the Hulu documentary as part of her determination for deciding the manner of death and overturning what had already been established 8 months ago. This is just so fucking crazy.
Discovered 3 additional stab wounds and 20 more bruises than originally recorded.
Well, if that doesn't demonstrate more in support of a homicide, I'm not quite sure what will be.
Dr. Simon also writing that her decision to keep Ellen's death classified as a suicide was based on several points, including that there were no signs of an intruder, no defensive wounds, but also in part due to Ellen's struggles with anxiety, stating Ellen had an increase in energy to act on her anxious thoughts due to a change in medication.
She is not a psychiatrist. Who is she to know what was going on in my daughter's brain at the time?
Oh, and by the way, she just changed her medication from like what was it? An SSI to clonazepam or Klonopin. I don't know many people where they've taken Klonopin or clonazepam or gave them a burst of energy where they had the impulse to stab themselves 20 times, including the back of the neck, back of the head, and the top of the head. That's fucking crazy.
On January 26, 2011, the city of Philadelphia was hunkering down amidst a snowstorm. Ellen, a first-grade teacher, was working on her students' grades in the apartment she shared with her fiancé, Sam Goldberg.
What we know is Sam Goldberg left the apartment at approximately 4:50 p.m. Per him, Ellen is alive and well and inside of that apartment. He is gone for give or take 38 and a half to 40 minutes at the gym and the lobby area, which you can see on CCTV.
Sam says he goes back to their apartment to find it locked, latched from the inside. He texts Ellen multiple times to let him in, and after making trips to the front desk, he says he breaks down their front door, where he finds Ellen slouched over on their kitchen floor.
Oh my God, she stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell in a knife. Oh no, her knife's sticking out.
What?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Ellen had more than 20 knife wounds on her chest, torso, and the back of her neck. She was pronounced dead at the scene.
After Sam spoke with the detectives, they believed that Ellen was experiencing mental health issues. So instead of investigating this, they call it a suicide on scene.
When this horrific event took place, the whole world kind of went dark for Josh and I.
We don't believe this was a suicide.
Right.
This is the farthest thing from our mind.
The day after Ellen's death, with the green light from police, the apartment was deep cleaned by professional crime scene cleaners. But then, the day after that, the medical examiner ruled her death a homicide. He also...
It was deep cleaned at the behest of Sam and his family, by the way, less than 24 hours after this happened. And the police gave that an okay. Who the fuck gives the okay to get a professional cleaning company to come in and wipe a crime scene completely clean before the manner of death is even determined?
noted bruising on her body and various stages of healing, raising even more questions.
What were your interactions with the police like?
The communication was very lacking.
I found out that they had changed, that it was what we called a homicide through word of mouth. I don't know who told me, but it was before I did the eulogy.
So there's an interesting period where the police and the medical examiner actually clash and they don't agree, which is unusual, and they clash publicly.
Police told me the scene was carried as a suicide that night because Sam had stayed on the scene and was cooperative. There were no signs of an intruder in the apartment, and Ellen didn't have any defensive wounds on her body.
Okay, so get this, because this is important. Now, that's Stephanie Starr. She's the first person who broke this story. She wrote about it in Philadelphia Inquirer or Philadelphia Magazine. I think Philadelphia Inquirer. Shortly after this happened, it was like, and then, you know, it just started to go viral from there. But initially, the police and the medical examiner were at odds regarding the manner of death. The police were saying it was clearly a suicide. There are no signs of a break-in. And the medical examiner initially was like, oh, yeah, homie, this is a homicide. And the police were like, no, couldn't possibly be. There were no signs of a break-in. So listen to what happens from there. This is effed up.
Medical examiners ruled this a homicide. It's like, whoa, go back and investigate. Too late. We allowed the crime scene to be cleared. I'm not talking residential cleaners. I'm talking crime scene cleaners.
Police never named any suspects, and Sam Goldberg was never accused of foul play. Weeks later, a shocking development. The medical examiner does a 180, publicly declaring Ellen's death a suicide. The decision came after a closed-door meeting with members of multiple agencies, including the police.
So what happened was the police, multiple agencies, they said different sections of the police in Philadelphia that work in that area. So the Manioc Police, the Philadelphia Police, the state police, you know how it goes. The district attorney's office and the medical examiner go into a closed-door meeting. And literally the medical examiner walks out of there and goes, oh, changed my mind. We're going with homicide. Or I'm sorry, we're going with suicide. Manner of death, changed my mind, suicide.
So devastated and so distraught.
Suicide is not a crime in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In other words, there is no investigation. They're done. I think Ellen was murdered.
And so, in your scenario, somebody got away with murder.
That's what I believe.
Years go by and Ellen's story starts to fade from public view until the Greenbergs meet a veteran state trooper turned private investigator named Tom Brennan.
He started reviewing things, and he took papers home and things we gave him that we had, and he came back and said, something's wrong here. This is not right.
After years of investigation, Tom felt it was time to go to the media. That's where the reporting by Stephanie Farr comes in, an investigative journalist with the Philadelphia Inquirer.
It was extremely well read. It generated a ton of interest on social media, from reader emails, and also in the true crime community.
But what gets me is the physical evidence. She has stab wounds.
Her case has been plagued with investigative failures. If you're just beginning to play along,
the case took a very strange and unexpected turn.
And just do not seem to align with suicide.
It really just sort of snowballs into eventually this lawsuit demanding that the city change their designation from suicide to either homicide or undetermined.
With Ellen's case gaining traction in the court of public opinion, the Greenbergs filed another lawsuit, alleging a conspiracy involving the medical examiner's office and the Philadelphia Police Department's deeply botched investigation.
Raise your right hand, please.
During the deposition, the original medical examiner on the case testified that the police gave him information that led him to believe Ellen died by suicide, including...
I'm sorry, I'm going to be an asshole. I wouldn't want that man in charge of my medicine. I'm just saying.
That the building security guard witnessed her fiancé, Sam Goldberg, breaking down the front door to find Ellen. But that claim later refuted by CCTV footage showing Sam going up to the apartment alone around that time.
There was a report that said I escorted Sam to the unit. When I learned that, I was really upset. I'm not allowed to leave the post other than for law enforcement. It's real simple.
In Sam's 2 interviews with investigators, he never expressly states that anyone was with him when he broke in. However, while the police report doesn't mention that anyone was with Sam, the medical examiner's report does. And that's the report that Dr. Osborne used to determine Ellen's manner of death.
Okay, so the police report does not say that anyone was with Sam when he went to the apartment. However, the medical examiner's report does. And that very little, possibly insignificant fact is one of the major determinations for that medical examiner who determined a suicide, then changed it to homicide many years later, that he made his decision on the manner of death about. Like, what the fuck is going on? I'm sorry I keep dropping the F-bomb, but this case has been burning my ass for 14 years, and today is a horrible day for justice for Ellen. Hashtag justice for Ellen.
Sam Goldberg did not respond to the producer's request for comment, but in a statement to CNN last December, he said in part, "When Ellen took her own life, it left me bewildered. Mental illness is very real and has many victims." And just this past February, another stunning development. Just as a judge cleared the way for the lawsuits to go to trial, the Greenberg's attorney says the medical examiner struck a deal. According to court documents, Dr. Marlon Osborne signed a statement saying, "I have become aware of additional information. It is my professional opinion Ellen's manner of death should be designated as something other than suicide." Just days later, yet another bombshell. The city settling both lawsuits.
So he says, "I become aware of additional information, and the manner of death should be other than suicide," but never specifies exactly what that other information is. There is absolutely nothing about this investigation, about this case, about the medical examiner's processes of determining the manner of death here that is transparent. It is all shrouded in secrecy and fucked upness and boys club and conspiracy, and just these poor parents and Ellen deserve so much more.
Greenberg settled with the city of Philadelphia, but part of that agreement was that the city would expeditiously reopen and re-examine the investigation.
But the Greenbergs and their team do not accept the results of that re-examination, even though in court today, the attorneys for both parties agreed that this civil case is closed.
There are other options available that will be considered and will be pursued and have been pursued. It will not involve Philadelphia. So it's time to move on to other pastures.
The Philadelphia Police Department, the district attorney, and the attorney general's offices declined to be interviewed and declined to comment for the series. Dr. Marlon Osborne and Philadelphia's current medical examiner's office have declined to comment on the new report.
We're not going away and we're not giving up. So just because there was a period at the end of the sentence does not mean we forgot about our daughter and we want to know what happened.
We want to know the truth. We are going to be fighting as long as we can and as long.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut them off. We are with you, Ellen's mom and dad. You guys are amazing, and so many people are with you, and we pray for you. And my God, those poor people. My God. Now, I want to bring into the stream let's see. Hidden True Crime had, where'd he go? This dude, I watched him a little during some case. I don't remember what it was. And then I watched him during the Karen Reed case. I was like, oh, honey, you got it all backwards. But he had Bob Mata on today, who's a defense attorney. You might know him from the Delhi case. But I thought there's some things he had to say about this week's determination by the medical examiner, the fourth determination by the third medical examiner were pretty interesting. So let's just bring that in and listen to what he has to say. Do you guys all feel like you have a decent basis for this case? There's so many more details. I'm making a video about like the complete case file, including all of the evidence, all the information. But, tonight I just, it's taking a lot to get it together. I've actually been working on it little by little for a long time. There is just so much information, and it's also conflicting and confusing. And there's so many details that really need to be covered to get a really good, comprehensive global view of this case. And, what we've gone over so far is really, really, really just the basics. So let's hear what Bob Mata has to say.
This is Hidden Killers with
yesterday afternoon when we heard it came out. I'm like, who has it? Do you have it? I have it. Do you?
Dude, I'm sorry. The host is a little obnoxious. I really just want to hear Bob Mata. So excuse this Tony dude. He's a little much sometimes when talking about topics like this for me, but that's just my opinion. Maybe you love him. Who knows?
It's like, who could find it first?
Yeah,
Find the
Tony
review.
won. Tony won for the record. Tony got it first. Within minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Tony's
we found
good.
it.
He can find anything. So
the guy's
yeah.
a fucking digger, man. You know,
You had a chance to dig into this thing yesterday. You got, obviously, you're of the legal mindset. I'm of the I host podcast mindset. So you have a little more insight into these sort of things. Bob, what just overall, when you saw this thing and you first had a chance to sink your teeth into it, what was your reaction?
My initial reaction, having in my lawyer career prior to becoming a podcaster myself, I had looked at many autopsy reports. And, one of the things I'm always saying on my show that I think that people, it kind of like goes over their head a little bit, not to speak to their intelligence level at all, but just kind of their experience in doing this kind of shit, is that anytime you have an autopsy in what could be a crime scene, the cops are there. All right. And the cops are there feeding information to the medical examiner. Okay. In terms of factual evidence that they found at the scene. But with that comes their tunnel vision if they've formed it.
Yeah.
So if whatever they've landed on in terms of cause of death or how this might have gone down or potential perpetrator, they're coming into the ME's office with it. So when I read this one, the first thing I thought is, God damn, this reads like a police report more than a medical examiner's report. It does. It is so heavy, fact laden in terms of what the cops construe what happened that you can't not see that. Like there's more kind of police report information in here than there is actual medical findings, in my estimation. I mean, it's lengthy. It's 32 pages long. And
I just want to say, after reading that through 1.5 times, he is spot on with that. It reads precisely like a police report.
There is the entire theory of the police department in here, in terms of what happened. And they're stuck on this suicide finding. Why? We could have hours of conversation on. I don't get it, man. And before this came out, I watched the most recent. I think it was Hulu. It's one of the big streamers.
Death in Apartment.
623 or whatever it is.
Yep.
And I walked away with the same feeling, like this doesn't feel at all like a suicide. No. And that was I thought that was pretty even-handed in terms of you know, Ellen was having some mental health issues. There's no question about that.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, but just the way this thing went down, and once again, we have an awful police investigation. That always seems to be the running theme of these cases, where we're all outraged on one side or another because there's just so many gaping holes in the police investigation. And this is a prime example of that. I mean, the fact that they not only allowed,
I just have to say amen to that. That was a bullseye of a statement, don't you think?
but advised the apartment manager to hire a fucking professional crime scene cleaning company come in and scour that fucking place is like beyond me.
Who says that? I mean, like, how often is that? You know, I mean, obviously, people don't maybe realize this, but after the scene is done, it's up to you to clean up your space. The police don't do that for you.
Right.
So there usually is a point in time to which they may, you know, we know these guys, they do this, but the time and place is important. It's not usually while the body is still on the ground.
Yeah. Or hasn't been autopsied.
Or autopsy. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, literally still the active.
Sorry here. I have no idea why that's buffering. I've never had that happen before. Just 1 second. Let me pause that. Let me close out my video editor. I have a new computer. Yay. Oops. Yes, I do want to save that, please. We'll call that Ellen Greenberg. All right.
Scene, but they never looked at it. And this is what just gets me from the get-go. How on earth would you not look at this thing as a crime scene from the beginning? They solely seem to base this only on the fiance saying the door was locked from the inside. Oh, well, can't be a crime.
Right. And the misinformation that they get from the fiance regarding the doorman walking him up.
Here, let me pause this for a second. Close everything down. McJay, it's so good to see you, my friend. Yay. Twice in a row. That's amazing. We love McJay. I hope you're doing great. We have to catch up sometime. All right, hold on. I'm just closing down my windows. I really have no idea what this is. Buffering, is that what we call it? All right, stop buffering. Let me just see if I'm connected to the right internet. I am. Well, here goes nothing.
Back to the apartment.
Yeah.
And you know, which
because
didn't
God
happen.
knows it's never the other person. In the relationship.
Exactly. You know,
I'm so sorry. This is aggravating the crap out of me. I've never had the buffer happen. Yeah. Why do we buffer? Why, God? Why do we buffer? Let's see if I can just go to a slightly different spot in the video. I don't think that's it. Maybe it is, because I don't know why we buffer. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I do want to look at this diagram here. Yeah. So let me just read a couple comments here. This case, man. Oh my God. Woo. It's YouTube. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Everyone's been saying YouTube's been funny today. All right. Yeah. Because the YouTube's pissed because everyone's saying suicide. God, I'm sorry. I'm fed up with YouTube right now. Which leads me to another fact, guys. We now have What's the Obsession Discord, which Cuff does a great job running, and Patreon, where there is exclusive content if you become a member. And I'm also putting up case files with the entire Watts discovery. We have the newly released medical examiner report today from the Ellen Greenberg case. We have almost all of the Idaho files that have been dropped over on What's the Obsession YouTube. Can you drop that link? Cuff I'm sorry, What's the Obsession Patreon. Yeah, and most of it is free. Some of it is exclusive content. It's $5 a month if you did want to become a member and support the channel, so that'd be awesome. But we can say whatever we want and nobody's stopping us, and it's awesome. Because I'm just getting sick of YouTube babysitting me when I'm a grown adult. Okay, here we go. Stacey Cole, here she is. Oh wait, I gotta bring that back in. I have no idea who Stacey Cole is, by the way. I'm just being silly. That's Stacey Cole.
On this, really. It's absurd. There's no way this woman did this to herself.
Oh my God, come on. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
that's the evidence.
It's
dude. YouTube killing me. Dude. I've literally never had this happen before. I mean, not even on a live stream. Like, my internet is pretty tight. Wow, man. That sucks. Let me try another tab. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just tap dance for you guys. But I'm not turning on my camera because I got hit in the face with a basketball today and have a chipped front tooth. Man. Let's try it here. Oh, God. Tony Bruschi is just so loud for me. Not that I'm not loud, but. All right, let's see if this works better over here. Oh. Yeah, right. Cubby just sent me a text. Dude, it's still doing that. This is freaking nuts, man. This is maddening.
forever on this thing, man.
Yeah.
Fighting and fighting and fighting for.
All right, homies. I'm giving up on that. I don't know why that's happening. Crap. Well, dang it. I want to watch it with you, but it's good. What Bob Mata has to say is really good. He comes to a number of really great conclusions. Let me take that down. Let me try to pull this one up. Last time, YouTube. If I wasn't already so well established with my channel and had 4.5 years here, I would be breaking up with you because it's been a number of things, not just one recently, YouTube. We have a number of disagreements. I wonder if it's just this dude's channel. I don't know. Let me try to pull up another video. Thank you guys for being patient. Let's see, I watched a bunch of good ones today. Which one is it? Oh, Are you guys saying there's no sound? Wait, hold it. Did I bring that in? Oh, no, yeah, I did. Was there just sound, guys? Can you hear me? You can't hear it? Oh my God. This particular technical difficulty ain't mine. All right, let's see here. Let's see. So, all right.
Justice for their daughter and what they construe to be justice. And it's really, really sad. Cause I mean, here's the bottom line, man. Like, no matter which way they come down on this ME's report, the evidence that was lost is lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you'll never be able to get that evidence in your own. Like, I would think if there was an honest, you know, true blue prosecutor, white hat wearing prosecutor that was like, look, I've looked at this thing, man, and I've come down on the side of this is not a suicide. You know, that they could probably get another independent, truly independent autopsy done. You know, the problem is with this thing, Tony, they're not even looking at the body anymore.
No.
Well, but
You know what I'm
here's
saying?
Bob, here's what gets me. Yes, they lost a lot of evidence. They didn't. This was a really botched crime scene.
They didn't collect evidence. They didn't treat it as a crime scene.
Right, exactly. But what they did have and what they do have are descriptions of her stab wounds in places that she cannot physically reach. I mean, I feel like CSI Miami or something, Philadelphia, needs to come in here and do an actual episode on this. I don't know how much more we have to do on this, really. It's absurd. There's no way this woman did this to herself.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the evidence.
I think if we were to like use AI to look up what is the average of women that commit suicide, do it by ultimately stabbing themselves in the heart.
Siobhan talked about that. Our psychotherapist, she said hardly any.
Right. No one does it like that.
No,
it's a
women
wrist
don't.
split. No, women don't do it like that. You know, I mean, that is a brutal way to kill yourself. And, you know, I mean, most women are going to pop pills. You know, maybe they'll do the gas in the car thing, you know, but to do it this way is just bizarre, man.
And Todd's got the pictures up of basically a skeleton of.
I mean, and guys, and that is so true. Statistically, that is a very, very strong fact. Women are going to kill themselves usually using pills, like you said, doing something passive, like the what is it, like the gas in the car thing, whatever he just said, or something that just allows you to not be invasive in your body, not cause injury or wound to your body, where you just kind of like women's way of choosing to leave this life is to sort of like ease out of it, like give up and wilt. Okay. With men, it's usually a more aggressive, sometimes just like a different emotion driven act. And this, statistically is very well established. And in the field of psychology and, and behavioral studies, this is even probably more strongly established. So for anybody to kill themselves like this, first of all, I think it's literally fucking impossible. It's like literally impossible of this earth. But when we're looking at all of, the very well-established evidence-based statistics and facts about human behavior, this does not align, again, on planet Earth. It simply does not.
This is the area. This is the chart that shows where the stab wounds were, how
There's
deep
no
they
way.
were.
The trajectory, a big long, is that a steak knife?
It looks like a steak knife, which is probably about a 5-inch blade.
Yeah,
right?
there's no way she could have gotten back so far behind her head to insert that at the base of her skull properly.
How deep did N go in? Do we know?
It hit the spinal cord, and that's the cut that everyone has been arguing and saying you couldn't have continued after that because you.
And this is also, guys, and right there, oh my God, this is gonna make me freaking insane. I literally like feel like I'm gonna start tearing up. I'm like just so frustrated. And right there is the wound to Ellen, to this beautiful human being that this medical examiner who changed the manner of death back to suicide said that the previous medical examiner accidentally made that incision into the spinal cord while conducting the autopsy. Think about that. And this is the medical examiner whose report we are all now talking about. And that Ellen's family now, because she changed the manner back to suicide, can no longer further pursue a criminal investigation to have a chance at finding out who killed their only child. Fucking brilliant genius.
Would have been incapacitated.
Correct.
But this is a new addition to the report that came out just the other day. They're saying, well, that might have been the original autopsy. Maybe they dug a little too deep, basically. Maybe they might have accidentally severed a little bit more than they intended to when they were doing the examination. Wow. That's the excuse. That's the excuse.
So they're inept is what they're saying.
Basically.
That's what I'm saying. When you go in initially and they're performing the initial autopsy and you've got a cop or two in there and they're sitting there saying, well, like they're giving the ME the information that they had the door bar lock thing on, the thing that swings over, and that they had that the boyfriend was escorted up by the guy downstairs, the doorman. And, in their mind, this thing's open and shut. There could have been in their mind, there's no one else that could have been in that apartment. There's no way that he would have done this beforehand. And it's
simply based on one person's account. Insane. It's insane. It's like saying, well, Brian Koberger says he was stargazing. Couldn't have been him.
Okay, case over. We're good.
All right. Well, I'm glad
Everybody
we're going to work.
home.
Can we handle all cases like that going forward in Philadelphia? If somebody just says, well, nope, you're wrong. I wasn't there. Oh, well, I'm glad you cleared that up.
Right. I mean,
that's how this is handled.
The reality is that's almost how all of them are handled. You know what I mean? Which always leads me to the question in this particular case, because you have some suspicious behavior from the fiance's family, not necessarily him at the time, but we can obviously get into the discussion about the 911 call, which is strange to say the least. But, the fact that they got the uncle coming back to the apartment and taking all of the fucking electronics is a big issue, especially in a time when we glean so much from people's devices. It's very suspicious.
Do you think an attorney might know that those are very important objects that might have very important information on them, and if they're in the hands of someone that shouldn't be seeing them or they don't want to see them, could look rather incriminating? And he was there under the guise of, I need to get some stuff for the funeral. Okay, that's usually like artifacts of their stuff. Like, did you go get like her little figurine she liked, a favorite dress, some pictures on the wall, perfume, something? No, you took all of her digital devices, and then what did you show up to the funeral with off those digital devices, which I'm going to take a wild guess and say you probably didn't have the passwords to, being the uncle that really wasn't very involved with Ellen in any way, shape, or form, but you're the one going in and taking this shit?
Right. It's weird, man. It's really,
doesn't this scream of, and I want to say the fiance has not been charged.
No.
Let's throw that out there.
No.
But doesn't this scream of somebody is covering something up somewhere? I mean, this just big neon sign going, cover up, cover up. There's no way. I will go to my grave saying that this woman did not off herself. Period.
Yeah.
I think there's two ways of looking at it though too. Like, what is the cover up on here? I mean, is this because there's ways you could look at this. Is it a cover up in terms of the law enforcement realizing, wow, we really dropped the ball, and just saying, oh, it was a snowstorm and we were short staffed? That's probably not going to hold up very well long term, but that is why we were shitty at this to begin with. But that's not going to look good. So we're going to get sued. So we're just going to keep going down this path. Is it all to cover up incompetence? Is it to cover up a murder? I mean, that they know who committed it and it's a favor for someone there at the scene. That's easy to go to. It seems to make the best movie of the week. Although we don't know at the end of the day. There's a lot of weird, suspicious behavior, but that again, there can be weird, suspicious behavior, and that's just how it looks. We've never had a way to parse all this out in any sort of trial form or investigation form. And at the same point, too, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here for the Sam, is if you had nothing to do with this. Let's just, I mean, because that's how it says right now. That's right. How the world is. It said he had absolutely nothing to do with this. If you had absolutely nothing to do with this and the investigators are not looking at you, I'm not going to raise my fucking hand.
Right.
And be like, dig into me more. Because how many people get wrongfully convicted when they didn't have anything to do with it? And you may be sitting there going, this evidence looks really bad. Like, I would easily be the person that they're going to say did this, even though I didn't. And they seem to like not be looking at me. So let them go and fuck up over here, and I'm just going to go over this way and be quiet and continue on with my life, which he did.
Yeah.
And he may be 1000% innocent, and because he's never been charged, and that may just been a complete struck of dumb luck for him, that when it comes to discussing this and parsing this out does look rather odd. But at the same point, if you're looking at it from that perspective, makes total complete sense.
Right.
But the only other part you would say is, I do want to find who killed my fiance if she was murdered. But at the same point, you may be also telling yourself, I don't think my fiance would want me to spend the rest of my life in prison for a murder I didn't commit.
Right.
Because that's the way that these cards are going to fall if I do raise my hand and go down that road. It could be a very calculated, very smart move. And if you're the attorney, if you're the uncle attorney taking the shit and they're allowed to do it, was that, do you think, more of just an opportunity on the part of the Goldberg family, of Sam and his uncle, where they're releasing the crime scene, and the uncle's like, let's get in there and get this shit out. I don't care what's on it, but let's just get it out.
We're not going to get anything out there that's going to be misconstrued, so let's go fucking grab it. You know what I mean? Because
they weren't breaking the law doing anything.
No, they weren't. I mean,
that's the thing.
Crime scene was cleared. Like, the crime scene, by the time they went in, it had already been cleaned. You know,
were they just playing what made the most sense?
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd be doing the same fucking thing. You know, like as Sam and his family had done. I mean, if they're like, all right, they talked to me, you know, I gave them everything that I had in terms of what I knew, and they cleared the crime scene, and at that point, I had a conversation with my family, and my family was of the mindset, look, because the way that this shakes down, the reality is it's either Sam or it's nobody else, you know, because the one thing that they'll have is the video from the apartment. If there was some strange person that walked in, like I've never heard anything about any other potential suspects. And granted, they've never done that investigation wherein they've dug into all the video, I'm assuming. But, you know, in the minds of law enforcement, you'd have to know that it's either going to be me or no one if you're Sam, right? You know, I mean, there's not going to be this nefarious lurking person that just sneaks into the building basically because there's that doorman there, you know, and there are 11 cameras in the building, even though sadly there's none in the hallway. You know, I mean, it's like those little things all kind of lead up to, I can see why they did what they did in order to protect Sam. And it was probably the smart move. And there was nothing at the time untoward of it. But when you look back on it, when you have the Greenberg family saying, okay, this is fucking bullshit. My daughter didn't kill herself. And they're fighting and fighting and fighting. And then you look back at everything in retrospect, that's when things start to seem hinky, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, man, is there a world in which he didn't do this? Yeah, I mean, obviously there has to be. Like, I have to sit here with intellectual honesty and say, okay, well, I'm not a medical examiner. You know, I know that the thought of the way that she died with the injuries she sustained are implausible, but are they truly impossible? You know, I mean, I could take my arm and
they're doable.
They're doable.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
They're physically impossible.
Yeah, but I don't know that they're doable with 23 stab wounds. I could see maybe 1 or 2.
Here's the reality of a lot of the stab wounds. Some of them are superficial.
Correct.
Some of them don't go very deep. Some certainly do. And then you get to the ones that are incapacitating, and then you get to new territory. But if we're to go by sheer, they're not all 23 are incapacitating stab wounds. Some are more like, you know, I could stab myself with this pen and go deeper. So you do have some of that, but there are significant ones here that again, and then just the utter odds of this being that she did this to herself, which we talked about earlier, are insane.
Well, and the coagulated blood that accumulated at one of the sites too, that looked like it had to be post-mortem. How is this possible? How is this possible? I want somebody with a medical degree to walk me through this.
Right. And so let me ask you guys, what did you have, a psychologist or a psychiatrist on to talk about it?
Yeah, Siobhan was on. Yeah.
All right. So
psychotherapist.
when you ask Siobhan, so when Ellen goes in her first appointment on 1/12/2011, and she describes this anxiety that she's got going on for a couple of months. I mean, to me, is anxiety the type of thing that kind of drives you towards suicide?
She filled up her gas tank that morning.
Right.
Or people who are going to I'm sorry, off themselves. I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. Unalive. Thank you. Yes, I knew it was one of the words I'm not used to using. We don't go in thinking, oh, I'm going to need gas in my
Fucking YouTube doesn't let us talk like grown-ass adults.
car, especially if it's going to snow. I need to have a full tank.
Right.
We don't think like that.
Right.
That's not how you're thinking. You're not planning ahead. You are planning the end. People who are planning on ending their lives do not fill up their gas tanks.
But a lot of, I'll play the counter on that. A lot of times it is a very spur of the moment decision when it happens.
Exactly.
It isn't always I'm planning this out for months and today's the day. It's like, I'm doing this now and boom. But
she was a very meticulous person, though. She was a planner. Everything she did was planning. This seems like such a weird twist of events for this woman who was so meticulous.
If she picked up a gun and did it, it would be questionable. But this makes the method is what makes this insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that I think just drives everybody nuts about this case is the method in which she did it, because it's so unusual. It's just it's not how women are typically going to unalive themselves. And here,
anyone.
I mean, but
the other thing is,
a woman.
Especially a woman. Yes, that's we don't choose that route. Somebody brought up a point that she was making a fruit salad. I think that's an important feature as well.
It is.
It is. You know, unless that's her last meal, but I can't imagine a fruit salad. It's going to be her last meal. You know, women are more like French fries, chocolate, and potato chips.
Stacey would pick a meat stick. I'm just going to
I think we're hearing much more about how Stacey would do this and what reality would be, because we're hearing like,
yes,
I do a meat stick.
Well, we often we all talk about, well, my last meal would be, if we're on death row or something. But
death row, not necessarily right before I stab myself to death.
Well, and why is she going to clean the fruit?
Right.
I mean, there's so many things that are lining up here that don't make any sense. If you're going to unalive yourself, why even bother cleaning the fruit? Just eat it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that simply don't add up. I mean, when you kind of look at And again, when you're looking and I don't know if our audience has been able to read through this, and I also realize that when consumers of true crime are kind of sucked into a story, you're typically hearing a side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from that side, who may or may not be biased, people are reaching their own conclusions based on the things that they've heard. So I'd recommend that everybody go out and read this thing for themselves. Everybody's going to come to the same conclusion. This thing really does read like a police report more than an ME's report. It's very, very heavy fact laden. Yes, they have the medical information in there, but in terms of trying to build their case that this was in fact a suicide, that's how the thing reads, man. It's like every single portion that isn't directly related to the findings from the autopsy, but it instead is facts of the case as they were able to glean them from what little investigation they did, is very, very much like, okay, this is why we think it's a suicide, not like a determination by an up and up ME. You know what I mean? It's like you cannot look at this thing and be like, okay, somebody wasn't in this ME's ear saying, okay, the goal of this is to convince people that are convinced that Ellen did this or did not do this to herself and that Sam did this. You need to convince them with this report that that's not what happened. I mean, that's how this thing reads.
Which really is like does. 5 people.
Right. It's like 5 people on the planet, and it's a frustrating, confounding, and upsetting case in a lot of different ways. And, I mean, Ellen's parents have just spent forever, forever on this thing. We're going on 15 years fighting this, because they really want to clear their daughter's name in terms of in her reputation. And it's important to them, and obviously if somebody else did this, then they want that person held to account, So, I mean, I get it. I imagine if the same thing had happened to me, the same horrible, horrible thing happened to one of my children, it would probably bug the shit out of me every day of my life. I'd probably obsessively think about it, and I'd probably obsess it. The fight would become the thing in my life. The fight would become, what I wake up for every day, like
which
it's
become for him. I mean, her dad this is his mission. He talked about that in the doc, which I think is a very interesting doc, one that went fairly scorched earth on the fiance far more than anyone has in the past. I was really kind of surprised just how scorched earth it went. But again, innocent, never been charged, maintains his innocence, and that's him. We're talking about the Ellen Greenberg case, a new medical examiner's report, if that's what you want to call it, that has come out that basically says we were right, la 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 la. We don't want to hear anything else to say, and we're not changing anything. Thanks for your time. That's what we're discussing today. Bob Motta with us, host of Defense Diaries. Bob, when I think a lot of people, obviously you are from the legal world, so you know what these things do look like. And as you just recently said, it reads much more like a police report than it does a medical report. I think a lot of people, especially true crimers out there who may not be as versed in this, are going, well, we were expecting much more of a medical-esque report. But there are aspects that do bleed into both of them to a certain aspect, but this one seemed to really go overboard in one direction. Why do you think it is that they're especially with no investigation, leaning into the facts of the investigation, which didn't exist to begin with? That, again, it just seems to be an insane overstep on something that didn't have a lot of data to begin with to base your medical opinions on, especially areas that have been proven to be falsely reported.
I mean, it's hard to know, man. It's like you kind of touched on it earlier. It's either something nefarious that somebody in, high-ranking places is protecting somebody, or is it as simple as the police department botched this investigation so badly that, they're worried about liability in terms of civil liability by the Greenberg family going in and saying, you fucked this thing up beyond all recognition and we're suing your ass, and it turns out to be a big windfall for the Greenbergs and a big hit to, the police
Which
department.
they are.
Right.
They are suing. And this report, and I want to talk about kind of what next steps are going to happen from here. This report basically does not reopen an investigation into this because it's stating it's still suicide. They would need to get undetermined or homicide as the cause of death for that door to be opened. It doesn't stop anything in the world of civil lawsuits, though, which is what is going on right now with the Greenbergs. They are suing the city of Philadelphia on this, and I believe there's another hearing, I think, today. Technically on this, as we're recording this on the 14th. The fact that the report has come out and has said, we're right, you're wrong. How is that, if at all, is that going to affect the civil case going forward, or any other litigation in terms of that's not criminally related?
Well, I would have to think that the civil suit is going to incorporate.
Okay, we're starting to buffer again, and we've been at it for an hour and a half now, and I got hit in the face with a basketball today and have to go to the dentist tomorrow to get my tooth back. So I'm going to go to bed soon, but like I said, I am doing a complete video on this case. It'll have all of the evidence, the whole case file included in it. It's going to be pretty long. Maybe I'll do part 1, part 2. I don't know. So be looking forward to that. Definitely watch it. You'll learn all of the twisted facts of this case and why this is just so horrible, crazy, and, just really repulsive. So please use, hashtag justice for Ellen. Keep following this. Demand justice for people that no longer have a voice and for people who deserve justice so dearly, like her parents who lost their only child, have spent their entire life savings trying to find out who the murderer is. And they have, the district attorney's office, the police department, the state police department, the Fed, and even the freaking local medical examiners against them. It's truly disgusting. We have to be on their side. This is what makes us civilized human beings. This is what makes talking about true crime worth it. And that's what makes us good people. So thank you so much for caring and paying attention to this case and, standing by Ellen and her family, as they try to pursue justice and peace for Ellen and for themselves, because they deserve it. Oh, damn. Hey, LK, how are you doing? Yeah, I feel ya. All right, guys. Let's see. Friday, stay Wednesday. I'll be doing a live stream of some sort Friday night. I don't know what case yet, but please be there. It'll be around 9 or 9:30 Friday night. WhatsApp session date night. Woo! It'll definitely be Friday night because my son's 17th birthday is on Sunday, and he's having a party this weekend, so all of his friends will be over Saturday. So that'll be pretty crazy. My son's turning 17. Oh my god. So I don't know. We'll talk about that another day, guys. But again, thank you for being here. I hope you guys all have a really awesome night, and please do something good for yourself because you deserve it. And I appreciate you so super much. Take care, guys.
Here we go once again for a marriage lightning man. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm the judge and jury, and we'll be up all night. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. all the best things can bring. All in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt.
It was earlier tonight. I don't.
13, she had her 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.